Hello, welcome Guy. Please listen in the horror old house story asterisk. After the war ended, a young man named Rathanak returned to his village to care for his sick mother. On the far edge of the village stood an old wooden house that everyone avoided. People whispered, "It's haunted." But with no money and no place to stay, Rathanak accepted the offer of an old man who said, "You can stay there for free if you're brave enough." When he approached the house, its roof sagged, the walls cracked, and cobwebs hung like curtains. He pushed the creaky door open. Creak. The air inside was cold, heavy, and strangely still. He lit a candle. The furniture was rotten, covered in dust. That night, Rathanak lay down on an old mat in the back room. Just before falling asleep, he heard a faint voice from above the ceiling. "It hurts. Help me." He froze. But when he listened again, nothing. He told himself it was just his imagination after years of war. Still, the unease began to creep in. Asterisk the next day, Rathanak repaired parts of the house. His friend Srey Neri came by with food. While cleaning, she noticed a faint blood stain on one wall and gasped, "You're staying here?" This was once the house of the Queen of Shadows. "They say she was murdered here?" Rathanak laughed it off. But as they spoke, Neri suddenly stopped talking and stared at the upstairs window. Standing there was a woman, long black hair, face pale, eyes hollow, watching them. Neri whispered, trembling, "Do you see her?" Rathanak looked, but she was gone. Only the curtain swayed. That night, the power in the entire village went out. Rathanak lit a candle, looking for something to burn for warmth. He noticed an old leather box tucked behind a broken cupboard. Inside were a book, written in ancient Khmer, some old currency papers, a bundle of black hair, tied neatly with a red string. He opened the book. It seemed like the diary of the murdered queen herself. "I was betrayed and silenced. My body cannot leave this house. Whoever opens this diary shall bear my curse. It hurts." Suddenly, a gust of wind blew through the house. The candle flickered and died. A woman's scream echoed from the attic. "Help me!" Asterisk, the next morning, Rathanak tried to throw away the diary and the hair. But no matter where he hid them, they always reappeared in the same box. Neri begged him to leave. But he needed money to heal his mother and decided to stay just a few more nights. That night, he couldn't sleep. The house came alive with noises. Footsteps, whispers, a baby crying, a woman moaning. Then, two red eyes appeared in the darkness, staring at him, not frozen with terror. He saw her, a woman dressed in torn black silk, blood dripping from her fingertips. She stepped closer and whispered, "Don't leave me. Stay here forever." He fainted. Asterisk, when he awoke, the village elder was standing over him. The old man's eyes were filled with sorrow. That house once belonged to a royal consort, a queen. During the chaos of war, soldiers tortured her, cut her hair, burned her alive. Her spirit never left. Her sorrow turned into rage. Rathanak, pale and trembling, asked, "Is there a way to stop her?" The elder nodded slowly. "Only by burning her hair and diary together under moonlight. Only then will her curse break." That night, Rathanak prepared a fire outside the house. Neri stood beside him, holding the cursed objects. When the flames rose, he threw in the hair and the diary. The wind roared. The fire turned black. Screams filled the night. And then she appeared, her face half burned, eyes weeping blood. She screamed, "Don't burn my past. I don't want to die again." She crawled across the walls like a spider, her voice echoing from everywhere. The flames flared higher. Rathanak, clutching the diary, pushed it deeper into the fire. Neri pulled him back just as the entire house exploded in red light. Then, silence. Asterisk by dawn, the old house was gone. Only ashes remained. The box, the hair, and the diary, gone forever. Rathanak and Neri returned to normal life. His mother recovered. Peace at last died, but one night, as he prepared to sleep, he noticed something strange. In the mirror by his bed, a woman's reflection smiled back at him. Her hair long, her eyes black and endless. "We're still together. You opened the book?" Asterisk. It has been 2 months since the old house burned down. Rathanak is living with his mother again. Everything seems normal. Almost. Every night, he covers the mirror in his room with a cloth. But every morning, the cloth is on the floor, and fingerprints appear on the glass. Small, delicate women's fingerprints. One night, he wakes up to the sound of breathing. Not his own. He stares at the mirror. The cloth is gone, and from inside the glass, 2 black eyes stare back. A soft voice whispers, "You tried to destroy me, but you belong to me now." Rathanak screams and throws the mirror down, but instead of shattering, it ripples like water. A hand made of smoke reaches out. He runs from the room. His mother wakes up, confused. But by the time she arrives, the mirror is normal. No hand, no ripples. Just silence, except for one detail. Rathanak's own reflection isn't there anymore. Srey Neri visits the next morning. She finds Rathanak shaking, pale, sleep-dash deprived. Now he tells her everything. Neri thinks maybe destroying the house was not the end. Maybe it released the queen's spirit instead of containing it. They go to the village elder again. He gives them a sealed scroll wrapped in gold thread. On it, a warning. Do not open unless the queen returns. Neri asks, who was she? Why does she want him? The elder sighs. She was once a powerful royal, a consort to a king who loved her too much. She died with hatred. And when hatred and royalty mix, a new queen is born. He brings out an old portrait, half burned. The queen looks exactly like the woman in the mirror. Then Rathanak notices something horrifying. In the portrait, the queen is holding the same mirror from his bedroom asterisk. That night, Neri stays to protect Rathanak. At midnight, the mirror begins to drip blood. A voice echoes from every wall. My king? It is time. Neri grips Rathanak's arm, but he becomes numb, frozen, eyes rolled back. The queen's reflection appears again, but this time she looks alive. Not burned, not faded. Beautiful, royal. Deadly dark, she reaches out of the mirror and touches Rathanak's chest. Her hand leaves a royal seal glowing red on his skin. Our bond is complete. You are my chosen, and I will return through you. Neri tries to cut the seal with a knife. The knife melts instantly into black ash. The queen hisses, he is mine, and the throne will rise again. Lights explode. The mirror cracks. A wind of screams rushes through the house, and darkness swallows everything. When the candles finally relight, Rathanak is gone. Only the mirror remains. Cracked, and now reflecting Neri instead, she hears the queen's voice. Now it's your turn to choose. Will you save him, or join him? In my kingdom? To be continued. Asterisk Sophia grabbed Sarika's hand tightly as the main door slammed shut with a violent thud. They rushed toward it, desperately pulling at the rusty handle knob. It didn't move. Not even a little. Sarika pounded on the wooden surface. Open, please. Let us out. But the house answered only with silence, followed by that same chilling whisper from the walls. Don't leave. Please stay. Sophia turned and scanned the room with his phone's flashlight, breath shaking. The walls, they looked different now. The old wallpaper was peeling away, revealing cryptic drawings underneath symbols that looked ancient, almost ritualistic. Blood-red lines forming circles, eyes, and human figures, all twisted and screaming. Sarika's voice trembled. What happened here? Who drew these? Suddenly, bang! The window shutters slammed shut by themselves. The temperature dropped sharply. Their breath turned visible in the air duct behind them. Something started crawling from the hole in the broken wall. An arm, pale and disturbingly thin, fingertips scraping the wooden floor. Sarika covered her mouth to stop a scream. The arm was followed by a face. But it didn't look human. Its mouth was stitched shut, its eyes hollow sockets leaking black tears. And as it forced itself out of the wall, that whisper came again, this time a painful, muffled cry. Help! Sophia stepped backward, shielding Sarika. What are you? He shouted, voice cracking. The creature lifted its shaking arm, pointing toward the stairs. Sarika whispered, terrified. It wants us to go up. Sophia shook his head, panic building. No, I'm not following that thing anywhere. And then the house roared. Every door, every piece of furniture, every window shook violently, like the house itself was angry. The creature's body convulsed, and the stitched mouth ripped open, blood spraying across the floor as it screamed with a voice that wasn't just one voice, but many, upstairs, now. Sophia and Sarika had no choice. They ran toward the stairs, hearts pounding, while the creature collapsed behind them, whispering its final plea. Set. You see? Sophia and Sarika's hands trembled as they climbed the narrow, creaking stairs. The air grew heavier with each step, thick with dust and a metallic scent of old blood. Every step echoed through the house, but the sound seemed to vanish before reaching any wall, like the house was swallowing it down at the top. A single door stood at the end of a long hallway. It was old and rotted, but reinforced with iron bars. The handle rattled when Sophia tried to turn it, but it wouldn't budge. Sarika whispered, "What's behind that door?" Something horrible. The walls around them began to whisper again, faint voices overlapping. Open, open, open. Their fear was almost unbearable, but a strange pull drew them closer. Sophia found an old key hanging on a rusty nail nearby. It was heavy, covered in dried blood, and etched with unfamiliar symbols. His hand shook as he inserted it into the lock-clip-dot. The door creaked open. Inside was a room frozen in time. Broken furniture, old curtains blackened with soot, and a small wooden chest in the center. The floor was littered with old journals, photographs, and strange trinkets, all covered in dust. But the most disturbing sight was the wall covered with hundreds of names, scratched deep into the wood. And beside each name, a tiny handprint. Some of the handprints were fresh, glowing faintly red. Sarika gasped. These are all the people who disappeared here. As Sophia stepped closer to the chest, a cold wind blew out the candle he carried. And in that darkness, he felt a hand brush against his neck. A voice, dry and whispering, hissed into his ear. You shouldn't have opened it. Now you belong to me. The chest creaked open on its own. Inside lay a bundle of black hair, a torn diary, and an old mirror shard. The diary's pages seemed to writhe as if alive, the letters moving like slithering shadows. Sophia froze. Sarika's hand found his arm, trembling. This is the secret of the house. It's her? The Queen. She trapped everyone in here. Suddenly, a cold wind slammed the door shut behind them. They were trapped, and the whispers grew louder, almost chanting, Join us. Join us, join us. The house wasn't just haunted anymore. It was alive, and it had plans for them. If you want, I can continue part 6, where they dare to confront the Queen's spirit in that locked room. Continue to horror story The Water Ghost Asterisk. In a remote village by an ancient river, people said no one should venture near the water at night. Villagers spoke of a woman named Manaramia, who had died in this river years ago. When it rained at night, soft cries and screams could be heard mingling with the flowing water. A young man, Sophia, decided to investigate. Trembling, he approached the riverbank after a heavy downpour. Curiosity stronger than fear got. As he walked beside the water, the splashing of the river mixed with the rustling leaves. Suddenly, a faint female voice called out, "Help." Don't leave." Sophia's heart raced. He tried to convince himself it was only the rain or a water animal, but when he looked into the river, eyes were staring back at him from below the surface. Asterisk Sophia couldn't pull away. The water glowed faintly under the moonlight, and the voice grew clearer. "Don't go. Please listen to me." A shadowy figure appeared just beneath the surface of the water. Sophia could not tell if she was alive or dead. He tried to step back, but his legs felt heavy, as though the river itself was holding him in place. The figure's soft, sorrowful voice drifted through the night. "You should not have come here, but now that you have." Sophia realized the river held a terrible secret one that might never let him leave. Asterisk following the woman, Sophia reached a small island in the middle of the river. There, he found old footprints and a tattered note on the rocks. The note read, "I was killed by river thieves, but the sunlight will help. Beware. Those who come here may become part of me forever." The rain intensified, making the river roar louder, and Sophia's eyes caught the figure dancing above the water. Fear coursed through his body as he realized the river's secret was alive, watching him. Asterisk night fell. Sophia could not sleep. From beneath the water, the woman's eyes glowed bright red, staring directly at him. "You have come. Now will you leave?" Sophia, terrified, stepped closer to the river. The water churned violently, as if hands made of liquid reached out to grab him. The red eyes revealed glimpses of burned human flesh floating in the water, twisted, ghostly forms. Cries of the dead echoing through Shadow Sophia realized the river contained a trapped curse, one that could claim him forever. He hesitated, but as he stepped into the water, the woman raised her hand, and a massive wave threw him beneath the surface. Asterisk Sophia awoke on the small island. The water had calmed, and the figure of the woman was still, watching him silently. "You have reached the end, but you cannot leave. Will you help me, or become part of me?" Sophia knew he had to fight the river's curse to survive. He grabbed a sacred rope and the tattered note, trying to block the sunlight that fueled her power. The water surged violently. The woman's red eyes flared brighter. The battle began man versus spirit. Courage against centuries of trapped sorrow got Asterisk by dawn. The river lay silent and still. Sophia returned to the village, shaken but alive. The woman was gone, the water calm. But deep in his mind, the red eyes lingered. A permanent reminder. 1 week after Sophia escaped, the village seemed peaceful. But at night, soft splashes could still be heard near the river. Sophia tried to convince himself it was just rain or drifting debris. Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that something watched him from the water. That night, he dreamed of the red-eyed woman. Her voice echoed in his mind. "You escaped, but the river remembers, and I will find you." When he woke, his reflection in the mirror seemed odd. The water in the mirror rippled unnaturally, and for a brief second, he saw her eyes staring back at him instead of his own. Sophia's heart sank. He realized the spirit had returned, and she was no longer confined to the river god Asterisk the next morning. Sophia ran to the village elder, Master Chan, a wise man who knew about river spirits. "You've angered the river ghost," Master Chan said gravely. "She was trapped once, but now she has found a way to follow you. Her eyes see your soul, and her hand reaches through water, mirrors, even your dreams." The elder handed Sophia a jar of sacred water and a bundle of protective herbs. "You must fight her before she fully possesses you," the elder warned. "But beware, the more you try to control her, the stronger she becomes." That night, Sophia prepared the riverbank with charms and candles, hoping to confront her. Asterisk, as the moon rose, the river stirred violently. Waters churned unnaturally, waves higher than before. Sophia could hear her whisper in every splash, "You cannot hide. You belong to me." Suddenly, a hand shot from the water, pale and wet, reaching for it. Sophia threw the sacred water, but it only made the river bubble and hiss. From the river, the woman emerged fully her body, hair glowing like black ink, eyes glowing red like fire. "You escaped once, but not again," she hissed. Sophia tried to retreat, but her hand lashed across the riverbank like a whip, sending him sprawling into the mud. Asterisk, desperate, Sophia remembered the last encounter with her red eyes. He pulled out a small mirror from his bag, a mirror blessed by Master Chan. When he held it up, the ghost recoiled. But she shrieked, her voice splitting the night. "A mirror cannot hold me forever." Suddenly, the reflection in the mirror moved on its own. Inside the glass, Sophia saw not just the ghost, but a vision of the river filled with countless trapped souls, all reaching out, all screaming. The water began to rise around him as if trying to pull him in. Sophia realized the river had become a gateway to her realm, and every attempt to escape would risk becoming one of her victims. Asterisk, with no choice left, Sophia faced the ghost. He sprinkled the sacred water and held the bundle of herbs over the rising waves. "I will not become yours," he shouted. The ghost shrieked, her red eyes blazing. Water whipped around them, pulling at him. The herbs caught fire, and the river seemed to boil. The ghost's scream echoed like 1,000 trapped souls. Her form dissolved into the mist, screaming, "This is not over. You cannot escape me forever." The river calmed, the red glow faded, and dawn broke over the village. Asterisk, Sophia was alive, but shaken. The villagers whispered that the water ghost was weaker, but never gone. When Sophia glanced at any body of water, river, pond, even a mirror, he sometimes saw a flicker of red eyes staring back at him, reminding him, "I am still waiting. And one day you will return to me." The curse of the river ghost had only been delayed, not destroyed. Rain pours heavily. Mist rises from the river. Sophia, mid-20s, cautious, approaches the riverbank with a flashlight and an umbrella. The village is silent except for the sound of water splashing. SFX, water lapping, distant whispering. SOPHEA to himself, whispering, "It's just rain, just water, nothing else." A faint female voice echoes across the water. That voice, "OS, help me, don't leave." Sophia freezes. The flashlight beam trembles. Ripples on the river form the shape of a woman's face. Camera, close up on Sophia's terrified eyes. Cut to the water, showing glowing red eyes beneath the surface. Asterisk, Sophia follows the red-eyed apparition to a small island. Broken rocks, footprints, and a tattered note lies scattered. SOPHEA, reading the note aloud. "I was killed by river thieves. Those who come here may become part of me forever." Camera, over the shoulder shot of the note. Cut to a low-angle shot, showing the water rising unnaturally. The woman dances above the water. Ripples reflect her face distorted with sorrow and anger. SFX, rising wind, water crashing, faint cries. Sophia, muttering, terrified. I need to survive. Asterisk, the red-eyed ghost emerges from the river fully. Water whips violently. Sophia steps back, slips on mud. Ghost to escape once. But not again. Her hand lashes like a whip, knocking him down. The river churns violently around him. Camera. Wide shot of Sophia struggling. Waves towering, ghost looming. Close-ups on the ghost's red eyes and flowing hair. So PHEA, yelling, clutching a sacred mirror. I will not become yours. The mirror glows. The ghost shrieks. Reflections in the mirror show hundreds of trapped souls reaching out from the river. Asterisk. Sophia sprinkles sacred water and burns protective herbs. The ghost shrieks. Swirling water boils around her. Waves crash high. Ghost screaming. This is not over. You cannot escape me forever. She dissolves into mist, leaving a calm river behind. Sophia falls to his knees, soaked, exhausted. Camera. Wide shot of calm river at sunrise. Mist rising. Sophia slowly stands. Cut to a close-up of a puddle reflecting faint red eyes. Sophia, breathing heavily, whispering. She's still out there. Asterisk, villagers glance nervously at the river. Sophia walks away, haunted but alive. Reflections in mirrors and puddles flicker with red eyes. The camera slowly pans upward to the misty river. SFX, whispering voices faintly in the background. Text on screen. The curse of the water ghost has only been delayed, not destroyed. There was an old village called Prey Shrungit. Locals said ghostly shadows haunted the place. At night, whispers, footsteps, and flickering lanterns moved through the forest, yet no one was there. A young man named Wrath wanted to uncover the village's secrets. One night, after heavy rain, he ventured into the village. SFX, howling wind, rustling leaves, faint chanting from distant monks. Wrath saw broken old houses and scattered antiques on the ground. At the end of the path, one house glowed faintly with lantern light. His heart whispered, what could be inside that house? Asterisk, Wrath stepped inside. The house echoed with soft female screams and black hair streaming across the walls. He realized it was not an animal. The candlelight flickered and went out. Wrath saw shadowy footsteps along the walls and a pair of eyes staring at him from the darkness. You shouldn't have come here, the voice whispered, carried by the wind. Wrath was terrified, but curiosity drew him further into the house. Asterisk, behind the house, Wrath discovered a broken old building and ancient relics. Among the relics were old photographs, notes about past events, and old footprints. Wrath realized that the village held a terrible secret. A woman named Sofa had died there. She had died in sorrow and anger, but her spirit remained trapped in the village. You have come. Will you love me or become part of me? A voice whispered. Asterisk, Wrath fought the shadow ghost. He used a flashlight and a sacred rope to block her power. The ghost flailed, releasing dark flashes of light. Her eyes glowed red, and her whisper echoed everywhere. You cannot leave. You belong to me. Wrath used the flashlight and sacred rope to contain her. The ghost shrieked and disappeared into the forest shadows. Asterisk, by morning, the village was quiet. Wrath survived, but fear lingered in his heart. The ghost's eyes were still etched in his memory. A warning. Locals said the old village could never forget its past. Wrath realized the spirit remained and would return someday. Ixt. Prey Shrungit village night. Rain falls heavily. Mist curls around broken houses. Wrath, mid-20s, cautious, walks down a muddy path holding a flashlight. SFX. Wind howls. Leaves rustle. Distant faint chanting from monks. Wrath to himself, whispering. Just old houses. Just rain, nothing more. A faint female voice echoes across the village. Voice, OS, you shouldn't have come. Wrath freezes. The flashlight beam shakes. Shadows in the distance form the shape of a woman's face. Camera, close up on Wrath's terrified eyes. Cut to shadowy figure, moving through mist. Asterisk Wrath steps inside a broken house. Candlelight flickers. Black hair seems to float along the walls. SFX. Soft, echoing female screams dot Wrath, muttering, frightened. It's not an animal. Shadowy footsteps move along the walls. Eyes stare at him from darkness. Ghost. OS. You shouldn't have come here. Camera. Low angle shot of the ghost's eyes glowing red. Wide shot of Wrath backing into a corner. Wrath discovers a broken building and scattered relics. Old photographs, tattered notes, and footprints litter the ground. Wrath, reading aloud, whispering. She died here, but her spirit remains. Trapped. The ghost's figure emerges, eyes glowing red. She floats above the relics. Ghost, you have come. Will you love me, or become part of me? Camera. Wide shot of Wrath looking up at the floating ghost. Cut to a close-up of the ghost's red eyes reflecting in the wet ground. Asterisk Wrath grabs a flashlight and a sacred rope. The ghost lashes out, flinging shadows and light. Ghost, you cannot leave. You belong to me. The rope glows with sacred light. The ghost shrieks. Water from a nearby puddle splashes violently. Shadows swirl around Wrath. Camera. Dynamic camera pans, swirling around Wrath and the ghost. Close-ups of her red eyes, flowing black hair, and Wrath gripping the rope tightly. Wrath, shouting, I will not belong to you. The ghost shrieks one final time and dissolves into the forest mist. Asterisk, the village is calm. Birds chirp. Mist rises from the forest. Wrath walks away, soaked and exhausted. Reflections in puddles flicker with red eyes. Camera, slow pan across the village, lingering on abandoned houses. Close up on Wrath's haunted expression. Text on screen. The old village never forgets its past, and the ghost waits for those who dare enter. Asterisk, the village seemed peaceful, but at night, whispers and footsteps returned near the river and forest. Wrath tried to convince himself it was his imagination, yet he couldn't shake the feeling of eyes watching him from every shadow. That night, he dreamed of the ghost. Her voice echoed in his mind. You survived, but I will find you. When he woke, puddles and mirrors reflected flickers of red eyes. Wrath realized the ghost had found a way to follow him. Wrath ran to Master Chan, the village elder. You angered her, Master Chan said gravely. She was trapped once, but now she can reach you through shadows, water, even your dreams. The elder gave Wrath a jar of sacred water and a bundle of protective herbs. You must confront her before she fully possesses you, the elder warned. That night, Wrath prepared the riverbank and forest edge with candles, herbs, and charms. The moon rose. The river churned violently. The ghost appeared fully, pale, flowing black hair, glowing red eyes. You escaped once, but not again? She hissed out her hand, lashed like a whip. Waves rose around Wrath. He threw sacred water at her, but it only made the river boil. Camera. Wide shot Wrath struggling. Ghost hovering above water. Red eyes blazing. Asterisk desperate. Wrath pulled out a mirror blessed by Master Chan. When he held it up, the ghost recoiled. But inside the mirror, he saw hundreds of trapped villagers' faces, all screaming silently. The river began to rise around him. Wrath realized the ghost's realm had extended to the village itself. I will not become yours, he shouted. Wrath sprinkled sacred water and burned protective herbs. The ghost shrieked. Water and shadows swirled violently around her. This is not over. You cannot escape me forever. The ritual weakened her. Her form dissolved into mist. The river calmed, and dawn broke over the village. Wrath survived, shaken. Villagers whispered that the ghost was weaker, but never gone. Whenever Wrath glanced at any puddle, river, or mirror, he sometimes saw a flicker of red eyes, a reminder, I am still waiting. And one day, you will return to me. The curse of the old village was only delayed, not destroyed. Asterisk, even after the last confrontation, the villagers were restless. Small children cried at night, claiming to see red eyes and puddles. Cows and livestock disappeared mysteriously. Wrath knew he could not wait any longer. The ghost's power had grown stronger. He had to enter her realm, the shadowy world between life and death. Master Chan prepared him. Once you enter, there is no turning back. The shadows will try to trap your soul. Only courage, sacred water, and focus will guide you. Wrath packed the sacred water, protective herbs, and a small mirror. Wrath approached the river at midnight. The water was unnaturally still. Mist rose like smoke, curling from an unseen fire. I am ready, he whispered. He dipped the mirror into the river. The water shimmered and sucked him in. Camera. Slow motion shot as Wrath disappears beneath the water surface. The world became black and gray. Shadows moved like living creatures, whispering, You belong here. You belong. Wrath gripped the mirror. Red eyes flashed everywhere. He was in the ghost's domain, a world where trapped souls floating in eternal despair docked at the center. Wrath saw her, a red-eyed ghost floating above a black pool, surrounded by the trapped villagers' shadows. You dare enter my realm? You cannot free them. She hissed. Wrath raised the mirror in sacred water. I will not leave until you release them. The ghost lashed shadows toward him. Wrath dodged, splashing the sacred water, causing the shadows to recoil. The trapped villagers' faces pressed against the dark liquid, silently pleading. Comer. Wide shot of swirling shadows, close-ups of red eyes, and Wrath standing firm. Wrath began chanting old protective prayers while sprinkling sacred water. The ghost shrieked, trying to stop him. Her power caused waves of black mist, reaching for Wrath's soul. You cannot save them, she screamed. Wrath focused on the mirror, reflecting her red eyes back. The trapped souls glowed, reaching for Wrath. One by one, they escaped into the light, disappearing from her grasp. The ghost screamed in fury. Her body began to dissolve into mist, and the shadows collapsed. Wrath was thrown onto the riverbank as dawn broke. The mist disappeared. The villagers were free. The river was calm, sunlight reflecting off the water. Wrath looked into the mirror one last time. The ghost was gone, but a faint red glow lingered, a reminder she might return someday. The curse is broken. For now, Wrath whispered. The villagers slowly emerged from their homes, safe but shaken. Wrath knew the village had survived, but the Shadow Realm was a place no living person should ever enter again. Months later, Wrath became the village guardian. He hung the sacred mirror and herbs in a small shrine near the river. Villagers respected the river. No one ventured too close after dark. Yet sometimes, after heavy rain, the children whispered, I saw red eyes in the puddles. Wrath looked out at the river, hand on the mirror, and whispered, I will be ready. If she ever comes back, the end